Hey YouTube, Cliff here. Just getting this machine ready to go before I do the new series of sharpening videos. And I ran into some trouble right off the bat. My main drive wheel here, the belt was sitting off about a 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch off to the side. And when I tried to adjust the wheel in further, it started to hit these nuts. Now mine's been modified. It's got the variable speed DC motor in it. You can look about and see about it in the comments to the first video on the modified 1x30. But the short story is the hole pattern is slightly smaller, so the holes had to be drilled in a little bit. Had to remove a little bit of this aluminum material, grind that out, but then you just drill the holes. And I've got the set screws in place, the 3 mounting bolts to hold the motor in place. Simple. The problem I'm having is that the bolts were actually sitting up a little too high, and I couldn't push the drive wheel in all the way, so I ended up just grinding off at 500,000th off this thing, 1/2 millimeter, and now it should fit in here just fine. I'll tighten it up, get the drive wheel back on, and get it into alignment vertically up and down with the rest of the machine, and then go ahead and go on to the next stuff. What I'm doing today is I'm checking all the bearings, making sure that they're fine, making sure that we got good spin. These are the ones that I have trued up, but I'm following up. I'm going to take a look and see if they need cleaned or lubed. And then this is the back idler tire, and this is what I consider to be the weakest part of the wicked edge of the Harbor Freight 1x30. You got to loosen this up and then get it to stay locked down somehow. What you want to get, I'm going to flip you around here, is you want this not to be too loose, but you also want to get good free play on it so that you can use it to open and close your and take the tension on and off the belt. I've seen them before where you actually had to grind this little area out and change the spring tension so that you could get a full range of motion on this wheel. That's the biggest thing. I have seen it where this was not ground out and the thing would only move about that far and the belts were way too tight. You want to be able to just pull it in, put your belt on, let it go, and have it put a nice natural tension on. And I've sanded the back side of this. I've trued this wheel up a little bit, cleaned and lubed it, and then loosened this, and then put some Loctite, I think. Feels like it's not. Anyways, you get the idea. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this thing. Oh, and one more thing here. This is, a lot of people ask me why I have this magnet down here, and this magnet came out of an old hard drive from a computer, and underneath this here is an old hard drive magnet. So it's one of those super magnets. This is all the metal filings that have been collected just in the last week or two from this thing. So these are all particles that would be flying around the shop, potentially getting in your eyes, in your clothes, in your hair, and worst off possibly in your lungs. This is a small mouse-sized furry ball of metal shavings, and it collects right here. So then you can just take it out, dump it out, scrape it off the magnet, and put the magnet back. And that's one of the first line of defense for catching metal fragments and things like that. Okay, I'll put this together and I'll be right back. Okay, I got that drive wheel back on, and now we are right where I want it to be, flush with the sides. Everything's flush and straight down the middle. I'll turn it on so you guys can hear it. You can see the magnet area is cleaned out. I blew it out and checked all the bearings and everything, and it's ready to go at this point. Just a couple words on this machine. It does have the variable DC motor in it. It's not necessary for sharpening. It makes it easier. I've had one guy comment that I was blankety blank and stupid for spending money on this cheap little thing, and even at one point myself I said that this is a cheap little machine, and I kind of badmouthed it. You know what? For $50 I've learned more about alignment and pulleys and bearings and sharpening than I ever would. And it cost me $50. I've tuned this machine. I've made it my own. I know how it runs, and it's been reliable. You guys, I've been using it every day for 2 years now. So I cannot complain. You know, the things I've learned I'll try and share as I keep learning them with you. Truing up the wheels was the #1 thing. And I am not a machinist. I am a repairman by trade, and creative on a budget at best. So I took a small sharpening wood lathe tool, and I set it right here, and I left a little bit of a crown in this one. These ones I did a different way, but I got them to where they spin free, they're true, there's no slop, there's no wobble, and that works good enough. Apparently there is a new, the other thing is, I think the 1x30 platform is an ideal size for knife sharpening. I think it's a little too small for knife making, a 2x72 or a 2x48, if they had those belts more available. But the belts are much more expensive. The 1x30, the belts are easily and readily available in a variety of sizes, a variety of materials that I'm going to go into, and they're cheap. And so the machine's cheap, the belts are cheap, and then the rest is up to us to figure out how to make the most out of this machine and this platform. I'm still looking into this other platform. It looks basically like this machine with another piece added on, but I'm seeing claims that it is possibly a variable speed motor on it. And if that's the case, then that saves all the problems, because it's this frame, which is a basic frame made out of aluminum with some basic idler bearings in here, and then if you got a variable speed motor, call it a day. That might be an easier way to go. If you saw when I had this drive wheel off, I had to, you know, re-drill those holes and move them off center, and it was a little bit of a pain. I was a little bit scared. It's the first time I've done something like that, but I drilled them, removed the excess material, screwed it in place. I've never had a problem with it. Anyways, that's it for the basics of getting this machine ready to roll. I have a huge order of sharpening to do. I'm going to go ahead and start putting that together in another video. The idea being is that this video would show you, this is what you need to sharpen. Here's the machine, here's making sure it's ready to go. You'll notice I don't have a lot of a gap between my platen. Everything is adjusted so it's flat, it's smooth. I know the machine's going to work right, the belts aren't going to drift. Everything's ready to go. And then the other big thing is I've got my Surge Sharp angle guide, and this always comes up. Where'd you get it? Where'd you make it? How do you do it? What's the deal? I've linked it many times. It's when it's available. It's available on Amazon. I think they run about $30. Somebody buys them out, and then they tries to resell them for up to $70, and it's horsepucky, man. There's another name that this goes by, and it might be just 1x30 angle guide. Use your Google skills. You can find it. It's out there. It's not called the Surge Sharp. This one is not called the Surge Sharp, but it is identical in every single manufacturing mark and every way to the original Surge Sharp angle guide. I know it was $30. I keep posting links to them, but the links keep getting switched around and taken down, so you got to hunt around for it. It is indispensable. And I'll go into why as we're doing some of the sharpening videos. So you got a machine, you got some belts. Hopefully you got a variety of belts starting at 80, 120, 220, 320, 400, 600. If you want a toothy edge, you can stop right there. And then you go to either a leather belt or a felt belt with a little bit of compound. Knock the burr off gently, walk away. You'll have a toothy, razor sharp edge that everybody will be impressed with. And that's what I'm going to do to this grip of knives, and I'll try and show in the next batch of videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys have a great day.